people, Flight Risk. You know what I mean? This is the new directorial effort from Mel Gibson. It's written by Jared Rosenberg. The film is produced by John Fox, John Davis, Bruce Davey, and Mel Gibson. It's executive produced by Russell Hollander, John Huddle, Kay Blaine Johnson, Patrick Joston, Walter Joston, Peter Jackal, right? Peter, we've spoken to Peter. Peter's great, man. Alex Lebovitsky, Jarrett Mahoney, Ryan Donald Smith, and Christopher Woodrow. It's co-executive produced by Jordan Wagner and Christopher Beaulieu. Antonio Pinto was behind the music. Johnny Durango took care of cinematography. Casting, we have Kathy McKee to thank, right? Production design is David Meyer. Ian J. Anderson and Nikolai Nikolov were art direction. Lisa Son is set decoration, and taking care of all the costumes, we have Kristen Kopp, right? Hair, makeup, special makeup. We got Glenn P. Griffin, Leah Kevaney, Julia Marie Gallen, Shannon Fisher, Haley Dunphy, and Alan A. Apon. Okay. What else do we have? I will say on their IMDb, they do list a whole heap of stunt people, which is fantastic. Because, yeah, it's a weird one, man. You don't always get stunt people listed, you know? So that's really good. But our cast, right? So Madolyn Harris is played by Michelle Dockery. Topher Grace is Winston. Yeah, we don't get a another name. It's just Winston. Daryl Booth is played by Mark Wahlberg. Madolyn's boss, Van Sant, is played by Lee Remini. Oh, fuck. I knew I recognized the voice, but I couldn't place it. It's Leah Remini. Boom. Okay. And then Van Sant's boss, the head of the FBI, is played by Coldridge. Is Coldridge played by Paul Ben Victor? Right. We've got Hassan, who is played by Monib Abhat, but voiced by someone different, right? He's voiced by Maz Ali, which, yeah, that's such a, I wonder why, right? Maybe Maz wasn't available to when they needed to have those scenes, so they got someone else in. But yeah, I wonder why. Because it's like Darth Vader, right? It was I forget the name of the dude that played him. It was a Green Cross Code man. But when you get told, actually, your voice don't work, oh man, that's kind of harsh, right? It's kind of harsh. All right. Also, Janine is played by Elsie Patton. We've got the I think the pilot they speak to, played by the bush pilot, played by Senna Pablo. Milko de Killer, played by Milko Kadyov. We've got 2 rescue workers played by Savannah Jokel and Mark Schultz, and 2 state troopers played by Georgi S. Juldarev and Atanas Sreberev. So yeah, that is that's everyone, right? The gist of the story. In this high stakes suspense thriller, right, a pilot transporting an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tension soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem to be. Now, I kind of feel, right, that's not a bad synopsis. Doesn't really give anything away. But the trailer does. Because, I always try and get to the cinema, right, for when the trailers have probably ended, but sometimes, you're a little bit early, and so you walk in and there's a trailer playing. So I did actually see the trailer for this, I think when I went and saw Wolfman, maybe. But, the trailer kind of shows us the kind of gist of the film, which I kind of think, don't even, give the notion of, right? Because it's just fun not knowing. It's real fun not knowing. But yeah, for those that haven't seen the trailer, I'm not going to say. But what is very interesting is, because, today was the first day it was released in the UK. But there's been advanced screenings and everything like that. So there were reviews out and there's chatter about the film. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before. And it seemed no one liked the film, right? I avoid reviews and all of that kind of thing. I don't want to get tainted. But there was just a load of chatter that this was a dud film. But as I know, and I'm sure all of you guys know, right? Yeah, you can't believe all of that bullshit, right? Can't always believe it. I mean, the talk was John Carter was a terrible film. John Carter, I thoroughly enjoyed that film, right? They say Elemental was a bad film, and then suddenly Elemental, I think it ended up making over $1 billion, right? And everyone seemed to change their mind on it, and then all of a sudden, actually, it's a good film. And it's just like, but all you fuckers were saying it's bad, right? And listen, as we've displayed on the pod, sometimes you can change your mind on a project, right? Because it's kind of dependent on the mood you are going in and other circumstances. Bystanders wasn't, blown away the first time. Wasn't a huge fan. But it was a shitty day. Rewatched it. Completely enjoyed it, right? So, that can change. But, yeah, kind of a long ass, way around. But yeah, it's funny. People were saying this isn't a good film. People, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this film, right? We open up and we have, Winston in a motel, right? Heating up some dinner. And we have him getting captured, right? So we have all of this, and then they're on the plane. Plane takes off, and then we get into the crux of the story. But everything kind of works, man. Like, It's funny because there was a point where Topher Grace was everywhere, right? Coming off of that 70s show, and he was just everywhere. And you got a bit overloaded, right? Got a little overloaded. I do enjoy Ted Hamilton, right? I think he was great in that. But yeah, but then you don't see him for ages, right? And so, yeah, you forget how good Topher Grace is. You know what I mean? And I thought he was very good. Like, I feel there's probably so many ways you can play Winston, right? But Topher brought this nervous energy to it all. And I think that works. And there's even a point where he pees himself, right? And I mean, not that we see it or anything, but he vocalizes, which I just think, yeah, no, that's a kind of refreshing, because it's as, you know, you have people in these scary situations and people that aren't used to scary situations. Now, the majority of people in these situations aren't going to jump up and become heroes, right? Most people are going to try and become, you know, unnoticeable. There's a word, and I couldn't think of it, so I just said unnoticeable, right? But yeah, inconspicuous. That's it. Boom. They're going to try and become inconspicuous, right? And they're going to soil themselves. So it was just like the fact that Winston's just like, fuck. You know, you're just like, okay, all right. You know what I mean? Now, I thought he worked as a character. I thought Madolyn essentially works as a character, right? Daryl works as a character. So I thought all of these things work. You know, you are pretty much, you know, pulled into the story because, you know, we ain't really got a whole heap of different settings. We got motor at the beginning, then we're on the plane for the rest of the film, essentially, you know. So you know, that can get a bit, but it's all gravy, baby. It worked. It worked, right? There are some things here which you could be a bit like, because there's things left on the plane and you just kind of think, okay, I don't know if that would be left on the plane, right? I don't know if that would be left on the plane, you know? And then there's, well, there's that situation. You know how in movies, right, people will hide behind, you know, doors and tables and sofas, and they can protect themselves from bullets. When in reality, the bullet is passing through all of those items. Right? A door ain't stopping a motherfucking bullet, people. Right? You know, the sofa you bought in DFS ain't gonna protect you. So don't think, right, this shit's gonna save your life because you saw Jason Bourne do it. No. But we do get some of that, right? We do get some of that in this, and you're like, I mean, what? And you can say that people are kind of lax with, because it's funny, because it's just like, we can hear stuff, but our main people can't, right? Or you just think, now, visual things are always a bit, I'm never quite sure, right? Because it's kind of like, what do other people see? You know what I mean? Like, what do they see? I don't know. So sometimes you see like things go down in films and you're like, wait, how is our main character not seeing that? Because surely that's like, you know what I mean? Just boom. But And also because that character, there's been no indication they got bad eyesight or anything like that. So you just think, wait, shouldn't they see that? But yeah, I don't know really. So there are things that you kind of ponder, and well, I pondered. I'm like, if they're looking in that direction, how do they not notice that? Right? And also, there's things which are on our plane, and we've even had them referenced, but then all of a sudden they're forgotten about, right? And you're just like, I don't know, this is an FBI agent. And an FBI agent coming off shit. So you think they're going to be, that would make them mad attendant, right? That they'd be real focused. It's like, I ain't fucking up. You know what I mean? So there are things like that where, you know, you do think, would it play out like this? When you consider the, you know, the situation and everything like that. But all in all, it is enjoyable, right? There's a bit in the film where I properly jumped. Oh my days. Like, because you know something is happening, but you don't know when shit might go down. And then all of a sudden, boom. It's just like, I was just sitting there and just suddenly like, fuck. I'm just like, whoa. You know? So there's one of them in there for sure. For sure. Yeah, there's some good moments. There are some good moments. Some good moments. And the end was pretty decent. Though, right? When you think of policing evidence and that kind of thing, there are some moments, and you're just like, and the end being another one of them where you're just like, wait, in this scenario, surely you're doing to ensure that, right? You know, yeah, there was definitely that. Okay, and then there's a bit earlier when people are saying some stuff and you'll be like, you understand that you have just, you know, but as I said, these are little things, you know, and also it's kind of Hollywood film, so you have to be able to suspend your belief a bit, right? Even with procedural stuff, they never really nail it completely, right? So I think all in all, Flight Risk was solid. Flight Risk was a solid film. You know, I kind of think like if you enjoyed stuff like, like Con Air, right? Or, what is that one? Oh, like Wesley Snipes is in it, and it's just like always Bet on Black. Fuck, I cannot remember what that film is called now. I don't think it's Executive Decision. I think that's the one with Harrison Ford, right? Yeah, can't think of. But if you like those films, you know what I mean? That's your kind of thing, right? We had Plane recently with Gerard Butler, which was definitely surprised me because, you know, I have been known to not always enjoy a Butler film, but I thought that was solid, right? And I think this is a Lionsgate film as well. So, yeah, a definitely solid, you know, action joint. Mel Gibson does his thing. Mel Gibson is a pretty good director, you know, when you think of the things he's done, you know. So yeah, I I did enjoy this. I did enjoy this one, people. So yeah, if you like those films I referenced, I think, you know what I mean? I think you are going to dig this as well. You know, so yeah, it's out in the cinemas. You know, I think it's out today in the States. I think actually it dropped same day both sides of the pond, which, you know, we don't always get, right? Yeah, same day both sides of the pond. So definitely worth a look, people. Definitely worth a look. Flight Risk.